People always ask where my farm is, and I always say I don't have a farm. My connection to agriculture starts a long time ago, though. I am an Iowan through and through, born here, raised here, and I've never moved away. We lived out of town until I was 14. There was fields surrounding us, there was cows there, they just weren't our cows. I had the luxury of not having to take care of those cows. While I didn't know that I had a connection to agriculture probably early on, or it wasn't something that I would think about, when I look back, it's everywhere around me. My name is Marji Guyler-Alaniz. First, I guess I'm the founder of FarmHer. I am the president of the company. I'm the trash taker-outer. I'm the paycheck writer, you know, all those things in a small business. So, but my title is president of the company.
FarmHer, founded by photographer Marji Guyler-Alaniz, is a small business committed to telling the stories of women in agriculture. The company was founded in 2013 and has grown from a personal project into a full media brand.
FarmHer started as a photo project. It is the way that we shine a light on the role that women play in agriculture. And everything we do with FarmHer centers around that. That is our mission. That is the basis of what we do. I go to farms, I photograph women, we share their stories through social media, through traditional media, events that we go to and we put up photos. We have a podcast that we're starting. So everything that we do is focused around shining a light on the role that women play in agriculture and helping people understand why that role is important. Right after my undergrad degree, I started working for a crop insurance company. That wasn't intentional. It wasn't like I was like, I'm gonna go work in agriculture. I just needed a job. I would put together brochures, training materials. Every once in a while I would go take pictures because it was really hard to find stock photography and I would get really frustrated by what was available. But I worked in crop insurance in the corporate office of that company for 11 years. I was gonna climb that corporate ladder. Like, I wanted to move up. I had grand plans of where I was gonna go and what I was gonna be. And I did that. And the company that I worked for and the people that I worked with were wonderful. But what I was doing was not fulfilling me at all. Most of the people I worked with for many of those years were men who were quite a bit older than me. And well, at the time I never thought, man, this is hard. Looking back, it was hard. It was hard to, like, you know, find your place and stand up tall and say what you believe, you know, when you're sitting in a meeting and you're one of maybe 1 or 2 women out of like 30 guys. It was not always the easiest to climb up that ladder. I had gotten to a point where I didn't want to go to work. I felt very frustrated with my job that I had worked myself into, that I had asked for. Like, I wanted to get there. And then I got there and I was like, I don't think this is what I want to do anymore. And my kids were 1 and 3 at the time, around the time that I left. And I really felt like it would break my heart if I told them, go work at this job because you're gonna get a really big paycheck versus doing something that you want to do. That's like the opposite of what I would say I believe in, and here I was doing that. February 1st of 2017 was my last day there, and I just quit. I didn't have a plan. I had some friends over that weekend for the Super Bowl, which was that very Sunday, and we're all sitting in the basement. Everyone's got kids. It's loud. It's crazy. You know, you can't even hardly watch the game, but you know how when the commercials come on, everyone watches the commercials. And this commercial comes on, and like a couple seconds into it, everybody just kind of got quiet and starts staring.
God looked down on his planned paradise and said, I need a caretaker. So God made a farmer. God said, I need somebody willing to get up before dawn, milk cows, work all day in the fields, milk cows.
Very
again,
simple
eat supper,
commercial
then
if
go
you
to
look
town
at
and
it,
sleep
but
in the middle.
super powerful too. And having a photography background, I was like in awe of it. I mean, beautiful pictures, right? And so we all just stopped and stared, and I loved it and didn't think a thing of it until a couple weeks later, and I read an article. It talked about how, yeah, that commercial was amazing, it was beautiful, and yes, it deserved to be the #1 commercial of the Super Bowl, but where were the women? Take that a step further, where were the women pictured anywhere in agriculture? Pick up any magazine about farming. Do you see a lot of women in it? I read the article, it was on a Sunday, and I remember like having this moment where I was like, duh, you're right. I just spent a career working in corporate agriculture. I made brochures and all kinds of products that tell people what a farmer looks like, you know, that have pictures of farmers on them. And never once did I stop and think, hey, we should try to get a woman on these. And I grew up with and around people who farm. Like, this is not a novel concept that women are an important part of agriculture, but you know, the image of agriculture was very different. And so I read the article, it stuck with me, obviously. And the next night, it was about 2 o'clock in the morning, I woke up and I had an idea that I could start photographing women because, you know, you can tell stories in many, many different ways, and you can talk about it. I could jump up and down and be angry about it all I want, that, hey, why is this like this? But the best way that I know how to show people something is through a picture.
Within 2 months, Marji scheduled her first FarmHer photo shoot with a woman farmer in western Iowa.
I went to her farm in Atlantic, Iowa, and it was like 40 degrees, and it was like sleeting, and there was like a thunderstorm with hail even during this period of time, but they were working. It was early spring, so they were planting in a hoop house, getting some of those early spring produce planted, and it was awesome. Really great pictures, and I feel like I got like bitten by a bug that day where I'm like, I'm gonna do this. Like, this is awesome. You feel alive, you're out here, there's, you know, people working, doing like, they're growing food, you know, that we all rely on every day. And I photographed, I think, about 7 women that summer. And that's when FarmHer kind of became FarmHer.
Marji built a basic website to host her photos and began FarmHer social media pages. Her small project went viral, sparking articles in national news publications.
All of a sudden, like, hundreds of people are emailing me every day and saying, we want you to come to our farm, or we think this is amazing, you know, we love this. And most of those people were women. I would go take pictures, and I knew that it was building and growing a little bit. And one of the farms that I was at early on, I had some shirts made. My brother did screen printing at that time, and I came up with this FarmHer logo. And I was gonna give a shirt to everybody they photographed, which I still do. I had somebody who was there helping ask if they could buy a shirt. And I was like, why would you wanna buy a shirt that has the name of my project on it? It didn't resonate with me, I didn't quite understand it. But I was like, yeah, we could probably make that happen. I mean, I had like 15 shirts made or something, you know? So went home, and I don't know why then it took me that long for it to strike me that FarmHer is not just the name of my business or the name of my photo project, but it's the name that the women there at that farm could identify themselves as, and be a proud name to show I'm a woman and I'm a farmer. And so selling shirts was the first step.
FarmHer's growing popularity was good for business, but the dedication required to keep everything running started to take a toll on Marji.
There was enough money to pay the bills in the bank account, and there was people knocking on my door saying, we want FarmHer to be at this event, or we want you to do this, or we want you to come speak at this event. And so, like, the wheels were rolling, but it was mostly me doing all of the work, keeping all of the merchandise going, and it just felt really overwhelming. Like I always say, my head was underwater. And then you go to an event and you work for a handful of days, 10-hour days, stand on your feet, talking to everybody you can about FarmHer, and I will never not talk to somebody if they want to know about it. And it just like wears you down after a while. As much as you might love it, it wears you down. And not knowing how to take it to that next level, you know, what's the right step? What's the right decision? There's nobody that's gonna make these decisions for me. I was just exhausted. I was just kind of felt done.
After a few years of traveling to shoot photos and sell merchandise, Marji was approached by a cable television channel to bring FarmHer to TV.
Whoa, do you feel like super powerful when that thing starts up? You should.
I just hope it starts. Yeah.
When the call came in from RFD, it was the right time for that call to come in. And whether in the long run that's the best decision or the worst decision or whatever kind of decision it was, it came at the right time. I needed something to help me go, okay, I got a team and we can take this to the next level. And then I felt like I could hire an employee and it could start notching up from there. That was a big turning point for FarmHer, like a really big turning point, because everything I was doing on social media and at these events scattered around, I put 20,000 miles on my car in 1 year, like just doing everything I could. It finally hit a point where I was like, okay, this can go to the next level now. And it was a really tough thing for me to figure out how to resolve, like, how do I think I can pull off a TV show? Like, I feel like I already work like 80 hours a week. And so I knew that I needed to bring in more help for FarmHer. I needed someone to deal with all of the merchandise, which was still paying the bills, and to deal with the events that I can't go do all of those anymore because I still have little kids at home. And I have to have the time to film 26 episodes. We filmed our first season of a TV show. I'm really used to being on the back side of these cameras. And so they asked me, one of the videographers said, okay, Marji, I need you to stop and I need you to look at the camera and talk about what Lina is doing in the background. And I was like, I just like froze. I kept trying to do it over and over. I think we probably tried 15 times, never got anything that was usable. And let's go check it out. No, don't leave that out. Okay. One more time. I'm produced, but they're teaching others to raise. Kind of wanted to just give up. I kind of want to be like, can you just hire a professional, you know? But they were like, no, we can't because you're passionate about this. Like, this is what you do. And I was like, yeah, you're right. It is what I do, and I do love this. And to be able to share these women's stories on a national stage is a huge honor. So I'm gonna suck it up and I can like figure this out.
Marji continues her work with FarmHer, balancing photography, television, merchandising, and events. Along with her 2 employees and her supportive family, she continues to elevate women in agriculture from across the nation.
I'm a big believer as a photographer. If you can see it, then you can go do it, right? And I think that was part of the problem with agriculture before, where you don't see women pictured in strong roles in agriculture. And so by showing women in strong roles in agriculture, I think that next generation can know that they can go do whatever they want. I am really proud of FarmHer. I have a hard time tooting my own horn sometimes, but I am really proud of FarmHer. It is, aside from my kids, the best thing that I've ever done. It is a good thing for other people. I hear that all the time, that's the fuel that recharges me when people tell me what it means to them or how it's changed their life or how it's brought something different into their life or how it's helped them look at what they do with a different light. That makes me proud. It makes me really proud. And it makes me glad, even though that the road hasn't always been easy, that I made that decision to leave that corporate career a number of years ago and to follow my heart and to listen to my gut and, you know, go after it.
I grew up on a small island off the coast of Cape Cod called Nantucket Island. I started at a restaurant called The Tavern, right there on the bay there. I started working with my moms at the age of 14. My first day working with her, like I said, I started off in the dish area, I used to always watch them guys prep. I used to try to ease up there and grab a knife and try to start cooking with them guys and prepping with them guys. And she used to always send me right back down to that dish area, man. So there was chefs from all over the country, all over the world come there in the summertime to work. And I started off dishwashing like everybody else does and started finding my way up to the prep station and up on the grills and, you know, cold stations and stuff like that, and just fell in love with it ever since then.
Professional chef Rodney Lewis is founder of Rodney's Kitchen, a soul food restaurant located in downtown Waterloo. After finding a love for cooking by working with his mother, Rodney attended a culinary school to pursue cooking as a profession.
Took off from Nantucket and went out to Providence, Rhode Island. Started culinary school at Johnson & Wales University, right there in Providence. It was pretty fun. We started off with desserts and different fudges and stuff like that. Second year, we got off into, more of the butchering, the different styles of meats, the cuts of meats and stuff like that.
Rodney graduated and moved around the country, eventually finding himself in Waterloo, Iowa.
I had a couple of cousins. I had an uncle that was a year older than me. I used to talk to them guys all the time over the phone. And they told me to come out, check it out, give it a chance. I loved Iowa. My grandfather used to come pick us up maybe 2 weeks out of the summer and bring us out here. So I was coming here as a kid. So I just never forgot about it. And why not give it a chance, I haven't been here maybe in 20 years. So when I did come back, same old thing, really enjoyed it.
While Rodney was still getting acclimated to the new move, a family tragedy turned his life upside down.
When I moved to Iowa, I had an uncle that, like I said, was a year older than I. About a year later, he got murdered here in town, here in Waterloo. After that, I pretty much gave up on everything. It's like my brother. We grew up together as kids. Once I lost him, man, it was just heartbroken. And I just lost it. Didn't want to do anything, didn't want to work, didn't want to go to school, nothing. So it was kind of hard for me, It kind of still is at this point, just by talking about it, you can hear it in my voice. But I'm starting to get over it, picking myself up. At some point in time, I was homeless. From that point, I just started giving it my all. Like I said, I look back on that time in my life, and at that time I had a son. I used to always tell him that I'd never give up on him. I never had my father around, so that's one thing I always wanted to do for my kids, is to be there for them. Just from being over in the local neighborhoods around here, you see a lot of kids without, father figures or mother figures and something like that. I see a lot of kids in a lot of stress and pain. And I promised myself, once I got Rodney's Kitchen started, I was definitely going to give back to my community.
In the time following his uncle's death, more bad news fell on Rodney's family.
My grandfather got diagnosed with stage 4 lung cancer. He just helped a lot of people out, man. If you needed rides anywhere, if you needed to travel, emergencies, he was always there for people. He was just a good person all around. At the same time, just a lot of things going on around here, poverty, gang violence, all that type of stuff. And once he passed away, I figured, that's something I could do, is come here and maybe give back like the way he's done over the years.
Rodney began working for multiple restaurants in Waterloo. In pursuing these positions, he was presented with an opportunity to manage a local cafe.
And I took over management over at a little spot called FarmHer Cafe. The owner of that cafe asked me if I wanted to take it over. I told him why not. That was my opportunity right there. It was exciting. I took over a great business. I was working there prior to taking it over, and I got, the customers and the people to come. I started a catering job that would really took Rodney's name out there with that catering job.
Rodney simultaneously closed Robin Hood's Cafe and opened a restaurant that was completely his own. He started a small walk-up window restaurant and named it Rodney's Kitchen.
I started Rodney's Kitchen because everybody knew my name by Rodney. They didn't know me from Robin Hood. Everything that I made, everything that I cooked, I took pictures of it, posted it, shared it. People started to like it, come over to try it out, and it just took off. It was just a little small kitchen, probably 20 by 20 feet, walk-up window. You order your food, or you can call it in or pick it up. And I had that little space doing everything out of there, catering, everything. I was cooking all my catering jobs on a flat-top grill and a fryer. That's it.
Inspired by his own struggles moving to Iowa, Rodney established his business as a force for good in the community.
To see a lot of kids hungry, they'll come up to the window daily asking if they can have something to eat. And I saw that every day, throughout the whole day. And I was one of those kids myself, man. When I was younger, mom's working 2 or 3 jobs. I'm the oldest in the house out of 3. Hardly no food there, or didn't know how to cook, at that age. And you just waited it out and did what you had to do until she got home, or, you just didn't eat, period, It was just something inside of me telling me, regardless of, if I make a lot of money, if I don't make a lot of money, give back. And that's what I did.
Hey, what's going on? Hey, how's it going? Let's start with this table here, and then we'll work our way around.
Rodney started a free lunch program, donating meals to those in need. By the end of one summer of the program, the business had given away over 6,000 meals.
Most kids or most adults are uncomfortable asking for anything if they're in need of it. So I just tried my best to make them feel comfortable, welcome them here at Rodney's Kitchen, and just make them happy, put smiles on their face. That's all I tried to do. And by me, doing these things for my community, they give people a chance to come and see what Rodney's Kitchen is really about. Is he just doing this to get people in there, or is he really loving the kids? Those are the questions, some people would think about. But my thing is, if I'm doing more for the kids, the adults would see that, and they will hopefully follow.
With the support of the community and the help of a few local leaders, Rodney moved his business into a renovated building in downtown Waterloo, continuing his mission of service to the community.
I think I'm the first Black-owned restaurant in downtown Waterloo. Very excited for that part also. Just had that drive, getting up in the morning and going to do something that you love. It was your own. You didn't have to worry about no boss, no nothing telling you what to do. You just get in there and you're just free.
Rodney's Kitchen, this is Taylor.
Rodney has overcome many roadblocks in his life.
Thank you.
And he's used that experience to give back to those in need.
It's an aha moment. Every morning I get up and I turn that key and walk in here and turn on these lights. It's an aha moment. Just knowing that I have something I can call my own. And I worked real hard for it.